Hello guys, so I'm in the south of France and it is just paradise. There's nature everywhere, but I literally for the life of me cannot find anywhere to put my camera down. In fact, I tried to place it somewhere and I ended up getting a cut. So I think what we're gonna do today, because I really want to talk to you guys about the topic of confidence, I think what we're gonna do today is we might just need to have a little walking number where I'm talking to you whilst holding the camera. And if you're thinking that my hair looks greasy, that's because it is greasy. I've just gone on a run and yeah, this is what we're going with today. So I wanted to talk about confidence. I wanted to have a quick chat about confidence because I had a friend of mine come up to me and tell me, a good friend of mine, very successful salesman, very incredible people person, like very, very confident, come up to me and tell me, I can't believe how confident you are. Like you're so self-assured, you're so comfortable within yourself. And I was genuinely really surprised to hear him say that. Not because I didn't think it was true, but because it's just something I never really think about. But as soon as I started thinking about it, I remembered that I never used to be this way. I never used to be this confident. In fact, my entire reality used to exist around other people and what they thought of me and how I could be a people pleaser essentially, and how I could make them laugh and how I could make them happy. And throughout it all, I'd be very anxious. I'd be very much in my head. I'd be overthinking. I'd have a lot of self-doubt. So it got me thinking, what has changed for me? What has made me develop this true, genuine confidence, where you can operate from a place where you feel like you have a really strong sense of self, you know who you are, and you're not out there trying to prove yourself to anybody. You're just living in your truth, because that is something that you deserve and I know that you want as well. And it got me thinking, what helped me make this transition? So I realized there's 3 pillars to building true, genuine confidence, and I'm going to share it with you in this little chat. Pillar 1 is building your self-image through persevering through a hard time or through consistently doing hard things. And if you don't know what your self-image is, learning about this concept has been something that has never left me. It's something that's really helped me build better habits. Your self-image isn't who you are, it's who you think you are. It's the mental picture you hold of yourself. And this is so important because your brain will make your beliefs about yourself come true. So basically your self-image becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the thing about your self-image is you can't fake it. You can't just affirm to yourself like, I'm very confident, I'm very confident, I'm very confident. Your self-image is very linked to your subconscious mind. It's very linked to how you feel about yourself, and feeling is literally the currency of like manifestation. It's the currency of attracting things, because you just can't lie about your feelings. Think about it. Say that you suddenly told yourself, I'm going to get into my fitness journey and I'm going to wake up 3 mornings this week and go to the gym. Say you wake up 3 mornings that week and go to the gym, even though it felt really painful to do it, even though you really didn't want to do it, even though it was really hard, you didn't give in to the pain. You actually chose to keep your word to yourself. Imagine how you would feel about yourself, right? Imagine how you would feel about yourself. You would feel like you can achieve anything in the world. You'd feel on top of the world. You'd feel like, wow, I'm someone who keeps my word to myself. I feel incredible. I respect myself. I love myself. I'm going to do this again next week, right? It is all about feeling. Feeling is what's going to help us tap into a higher frequency and attract all of those wonderful things that we want, but also step into our most confident selves, because feeling is what energy is, right? Like how you feel about yourself is your energy. It's the energy you're emanating. If you're deeply insecure and you're deeply unhappy, which is, I think we all go through those periods of life. There was a period of my life where I was deeply insecure, but people can sense that, okay? So if you're operating from a place where you're constantly breaking promises to yourself, okay? Think about it this way. You have a best friend who you love so much, and when you tell them, I'm gonna go meet you at the gym at 6 a.m., you always show up because they're there and you made that promise to themselves. But when it's you, the person you're born with, the person that you die with, the person who's going to be there through every step of your life, through every step of your journey, you can easily break promises every single day. You can easily not look after yourself. What happens when you're constantly breaking promises to yourself, or you're neglecting and not listening to that voice inside of your head that keeps telling you to do that thing, that keeps telling you to go after your dreams, that keeps telling you to learn that new skill, to go out and meet someone, to just go out and put yourself out there, but you keep ignoring that voice inside of your head. What it does is it decreases your self-image and it gives you a poorer sense of self, right? Suddenly you don't have a strong sense of self. You don't feel very good about yourself. You're feeling a little bit more insecure. And what happens in this state is that's when we tend to be more of a people pleaser. That's when we tend to lack boundaries because we don't even know ourselves. We haven't connected to ourselves and we don't know where our boundaries are. We don't know what our needs are. We're constantly neglecting ourselves. What that does is it actually puts you in this vulnerable state where you will actually end up attracting people who don't have your best interests in mind. You'll end up attracting toxic people, right? Like it's always the people who are more empathetic but lack boundaries and are in their people pleasing era that will attract the toxic people who don't have their best interests in mind, who want to take advantage of them because you don't have a strong sense of self. So what happens if you do the opposite? If you build true, genuine confidence from persevering through hard times, from doing hard things that you know you're supposed to do repeatedly over time, is that you develop a really strong sense of self where actually you know yourself so much that the last thing you need is validation, love, or approval from others. And so what happens is when you truly let someone into your life, you do it from a very genuine, authentic place where you're like, wow, this person, is a good person. I get on with them. I really feel like we're on the same vibe. It's not coming from a place of lack where it's like, wow, I'm not giving myself love and approval and the care that I need, the care that probably my inner child is being neglected for as well. And so I need to get that from somebody else. So even doing hard things for ourselves can help us attract the most incredible soul connections, the most incredible lifelong friendships with other people who have also done that work and who are also operating from that higher frequency of not neediness, of not needing connection, but just simply wanting it with the right person. And you're both operating from this confident, loving place, which can just help you up level your lives even more. Let's look at the example of overcoming social anxiety, because I want you to understand that overcoming social anxiety and becoming someone who can communicate well and go up to someone and feel confident and become friends with them, or even just have a conversation with anybody if you go up to them and feel good doing it, is an incredibly important life skill. And if you're telling yourself, oh, I'm not extroverted, it's easy for them because they're extroverted, it's hard for me because I'm introverted, so I just don't like people, or I'm just not a people person, those are just stories that you're telling yourself that have formed part of your identity. We are social creatures. Every single person has the ability to become a people person, or at least know the art of communication. That is an incredibly valuable life skill, right? So when I was younger, I knew that I wanted to know how to talk to people. I wanted to know how to make them laugh, win them over. I just thought it was an incredibly important skill that would benefit me a lot in life. I didn't want to be anxious, but I was very anxious. I was very anxious in social situations. I was overthinking everything that I was saying. I was overthinking after I would leave. I would overanalyze every single thing. I would feel anxious on my way there to meet people. But what I did is I repeatedly kept going. I just kept going. I didn't listen to the anxiety. I took the power away from the anxiety, because what happens is if you give in to the anxiety, the fear, the self-doubt, and you don't do the hard thing that's good for you, you make it louder in your brain. You create this like neural network in your brain that says, okay, they listen to me when I give them these thoughts, so I'm going to keep giving them these thoughts, and we're going to make them louder and louder and louder. The thoughts that tell you can't do it, it's too hard, it's too uncomfortable, it's too boring, those will get louder. As soon as you take the action, you don't listen to the fear, and you take the action anyway, it is an act of self-love. It is building your confidence. It is building your self-image. And guess what? You're going to feel pretty good about yourself after. And that's the whole thing. We always, with confidence, want to tap into feeling genuinely good about ourselves. And that is something you just can't fake. Pillar 2 that helped me develop true, genuine confidence is realizing that in life, you need to take personal responsibility for your circumstances and constantly remind yourself that growth is not linear. And so what I mean by this is that when you are trying to change, when you are trying to build confidence and do the things that will make you a confident person, your brain is currently a culmination of every past thought, action, behavior, feeling, habit that you've had in the past. So if you've acted in a certain way, you have created an extremely strong network of acting in that way, thinking in that way, behaving in that way, feeling in that way in your brain. So your brain is a culmination of the past, of everything about you that has happened in the past. That is what your brain knows. Your brain doesn't know the future. It doesn't know who you want to be. To your brain, that is a risk, right? So understanding this can help you persevere, because what happens when we want to change and we want to become a newer, better, more confident version of ourselves is that it will actually require a death of your old brain, right? Your brain is wired for survival. It doesn't want to die. It will do everything possible to trick you, to keep you the same. But you know that if you keep persevering, eventually your new ways of being, your new ways of thinking, feeling, behaving, and acting will take over the old brain. People who are really confident, they know this. They know that building a new habit, building a new identity, and becoming that like better version of yourself is not something that happens overnight. It's not something that happens over weeks. It's something that happens over months, if not years. And so when you are trying to change, it's going to feel like this. It's going to be 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. 1 step forward, 1 step back. That's literally what growth is like. Growth is not linear. It's not like this. It's kind of like this. So you are improving, but you don't realize it, but it's kind of going down and back and down and back because there's a tug of war between your old brain and your new brain, and that is okay, right? Persevering through it, like we said in Pillar 1, persevering through it, no matter how hard it is what's going to build that confidence. It's what's going to teach you those valuable life lessons. It's what's going to make you create that high sense of respect and love for yourself. For most people, they give up because they think, oh, I've tried so hard and I just keep falling back into my old ways and it's too hard, boring, or painful. But what you don't realize is usually when you feel like giving up is when you're so close to a breakthrough, when you are so close to a breakthrough. And that is why in life, taking complete personal responsibility for where you're at is absolutely essential. And what personal responsibility means is that no matter what has happened to you in your life, no matter what your current circumstances are, you take full responsibility for where you're at. No matter whose fault it is, we take complete responsibility. We say, this is my life. It's not to blame anybody. We're not blaming myself. We're not blaming our parents. We're not blaming our friends. We're not blaming anybody. Let me just give you a quick example. So when I was in my early 20s, I was in this toxic relationship for 2 years. And I was in an extremely stressed out state during that relationship. So after that relationship ended, I started experiencing health issues. I started experiencing digestive issues. And of course, my health issues were related to other things as well, but I know that a huge part of it was because I was in this very stressed state in this toxic relationship. And so I had 2 choices. Once I learned about the concept of personal responsibility, I knew that I could continue to blame him and think, oh, he was so toxic, he has so many issues, like why did he treat me like that? Or I could take personal responsibility and think, well, there is a reason why I stayed and there's a reason why I let myself be treated like that, right? Like I needed to learn those lessons because right now the person I am today would never in a million years let myself be disrespected or treated like that. So obviously if you're letting yourself be disrespected or treated like that, then it's because you have work to do, right? You have a lesson that you need to learn and you're letting yourself be treated like that. So I took personal responsibility for my situation and I told myself, okay, I'm struggling with my health, but I'm going to do everything in my power to heal. And what happened is I healed myself naturally and I started helping other people heal. And I created a business with wellness products that really helped me. And now in hindsight, that relationship is one of the best things that ever happened to me. Even in the moment, it felt like the worst thing to ever happen to me. And it's all because I took personal responsibility. Because what personal responsibility does is no matter what your life circumstances are, no matter what has been out of your control, no matter what situation you've been put in, if you take personal responsibility and you're like, right, this is now up to me, you are completely empowering yourself. All the power is in your hands, and that means you can take the action you need to take to change things for yourself. And you know what else is going to happen when you keep showing up and you keep doing the hard things that you're supposed to be doing to get the end result that you want, right? Whether it's going to the gym, whether it's learning that skill, whether it's posting content, building that business, is that you are doing the art of repetition. You are doing the art of practice. So think about it, no matter where you go. When I go to my dance classes, there are people who are incredible dancers. Now, I could be insecure and compare myself to them and think, oh my God, they're so much better than me. But what I realize is they've just done hundreds of more hours of dance than me. That is why they're confident. That is why they're so much better. They've just put in the repetition. They've put in the practice. They've put in the work. And from that, the confidence comes. So when you're comparing yourself to someone else who is so much further ahead than you, think about it. How many more reps have they done? Right? This is my 5th year where I'm posting content. So no matter how my content performs, I know that it's part of my identity and I'm going to keep showing up confidently, posting every single week or whenever I can manage. I know that because it's part of my identity and I've done it for 5 years. If you've not done it yet, you might be comparing yourself to people who are doing really well, people who are achieving results that you're not achieving, but you have to ask yourself, how many reps have they done and how many reps have you done, right? A lot of the time, the confidence is going to come if you just keep up with the practice, if you just keep up with the repetition. And yes, it's going to be hard, but confident people know that in the beginning it's painful, but they want the result. So you have to ask yourself, how badly do I want the result? Because yes, maybe in the moment it will feel painful, but how good is it going to feel when you are moving through the world with confidence, because you know that all your dreams are coming true, because you know that you have done the work, that you have showed up for yourself, and that you keep doing the hard things that are good for you? Do you know how good you're going to feel about yourself? Do you know how confident you're going to be? Do you know how nobody's opinion is going to matter to you? Nobody's opinion is going to matter to you. You're not going to be living through life wanting to get other people's validation. You are going to literally be operating through life with such a strong sense of self. In fact, you're not even going to care if people like you or not. That's what true confidence is. It's not living your life for anybody else or worrying what anybody else thinks about you. It's knowing who you are. It's knowing your values, knowing how you carry yourself. And if people don't like you, in fact, most confident people don't want everybody to like them. They know that's not realistic. That's not their goal. Their goal isn't to get everybody to like them. But that is exactly how you're going to feel when you're feeling confident. Pillar 3 is perspective. So confident people have developed the art of perspective, and they talk to themselves in a way which gives them perspective that helps them continue to live in their truth and take the action they need to take. What I mean by that is, if you're letting your fears and doubts stop you from living in your truth and taking proper action, you need to give yourself perspective. You need to have like 2 or 3 narratives that you tell yourself anytime the fear and the doubt hits you to prevent you from taking action. For example, when I wanted to leave my 9 to 5 and start my own business, and I would start to doubt myself, I would start to think about how in 2 to 3 generations, everyone I know is no longer going to be around, and they certainly don't care about what I'm doing now, and they certainly aren't going to care about it when they're dead, right? Or I would think about the fact that I'm literally just one person on this floating rock that's just moving through the sky, and really nothing actually matters and it's not a big deal. Or I would think about the fact that life is so finite, time is so finite, tomorrow is not granted, and if I were to die tomorrow, I know it sounds morbid, but these things really motivated me. If I were to die tomorrow, would I regret not taking the action? And I would always regret not taking the action, because I know that at least if my life wasn't guaranteed for the next 50 years, I want to live in a way where I don't have any regrets. So how do you talk to yourself when you have doubts? How do you talk to yourself when you know you're supposed to do something but you don't have to? Right? Confident people will always catch those thoughts and will then give themselves a pep talk. You are your number one fan. You are your biggest motivator. You are your biggest support system, and you should act like it. You can always implement better thoughts. So when you are nervous and you don't know if you can do it, talk to yourself. Talk to yourself with that perspective and tell yourself, this fear that I'm having right now, is it really going to matter in the grand scheme of things? Do people really care if I start posting content? Is anybody really going to care what I do with my life apart from myself? In 150 years from now, is it really going to matter what you did or didn't do? It's not. No one's going to remember, no one's going to care. So the most important thing is to live for yourself. Is to live for yourself and make your dreams come true. When you live for yourself and you step into your high self, you will actually be having this beautiful butterfly effect on everybody around you, on entire communities, on hundreds, if not thousands of people. You have no idea how much power and potential you have from simply choosing to do hard things that are good for you. And throughout that journey, you are going to build confidence. So I'm going to leave you with this quote because my arm's starting to hurt from holding this camera up. But this quote I heard a long time ago, and I always loved it and I always remembered it. And it goes, "You are just a grain of sand on an infinite beach of time, and nothing really matters." So if you're having a bad day, remember this, but also use that to your advantage, right? You can create your own reality. If nothing matters, you can create your own meaning. You can master your reality. You can create your dream reality. So in this one life that you have, why shouldn't you try to live your absolute best life and feel the absolute best about yourself? It might be a little bit painful in the beginning, or really painful because you're going through a death of your old self and you're creating your new identity. But give yourself 5 years, you would have completely transformed every area of your life: career, self-worth, self-image, relationships, maybe your external circumstances, your external environment, your home, how much money you're making. 5 years of perseverance to becoming the most confident person by doing hard things for yourself, and you will just be set up for the next 30, 40, 50 years of your life.